Okay, we are recording, and we're going to go live here.
Nice. This is my favorite part.
Your favorite part?
We go live. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I think we're
and
here.
then we're live.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to take out my...
Why you got to take that out?
I got to take my... Because my wife hates it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why do you got to wear that beard thing?
All right. We are live.
We are live. We're here at the Mark Hope Show. And we have got a great show coming up. Oh, I need to pull that up.
Yeah. We almost have a great show coming up.
Now, do you want to put me up on this?
What do you mean?
I want to monitor the show so I can see what's going on.
Hello, Thomas. Hello, DeBrain. Hello. Everyone else has joined.
We are live. We're here at the Mark Hope Show.
Gonna mute that.
We have got a great show coming up. Oh, I need to pull that up.
Almost have a show.
Now, do you want to put me up on this?
Yes, I'm up.
Yeah. I want to monitor the show. I need to take that volume down.
Yeah, hello, just
Hello, gotcha.
Hello. Everyone else has joined. Mute.
The technical difficulties.
It's all right. We just didn't want to be late for everyone. Later than we already were.
That's all right.
But that's okay. We're here.
Hey, Melissa. You know that Thomas Haynes? We need to have him on. He is a World Series of Poker main event poker player.
Really?
But that is not the best thing that he is. And there's Karen Higgins. And we should have Thomas Haynes on one day. He is a huge philanthropist out of California. And he and I have the same feelings about some of the charity work that we're doing. And he would make a great guest on the show. What do you got teed up for us tonight? We're gonna talk a little bit about some stuff that I want to talk about.
Right, and then we have a great guest coming on. Her name is Nora Nye with Budding Equity Management, and she's going to talk about some interesting stuff that I think you're going to like.
Really interesting stuff. And she's got a super brain too.
Yeah.
And she's going to use that brain for good, and it's going to be really interesting. Plus, people are going to make a lot of money, I think, with what she's got going on. But one of the things that we always talk about on the show is, following your dream and getting your side gig going. And there's Jeff Wittenauer. That's an amazing story out of Oklahoma.
Yeah?
Yeah, amazing. Someone say Brain. Someone did say Brain. As a matter of fact.
I did.
We should have Brain on the show sometime. Why don't you book him?
I will make some notes here.
That guy has a very exciting life story to tell. And he's done some amazing things. We should get him on the show. And Karen's chiming in saying all women have super brains, which I agree with that, actually. And there's PJ Serio, formerly known as Texas K-9 University Superstars.
Those guys are awesome.
Pedro Mori.
Did someone say money?
Pedro Mori's coming back. He is, he's another guy we should have on the show. He is running for the Waxhaw County Commissioner out in North Carolina. And I think he's going to win.
Really?
Yeah. Marketing Hope is doing some advising on the campaign, and he's a good guy. He's going to make some positive changes for some people out there, and he deserves to be in there. He is a non-politic. Yeah. Vote for Pedro. I like that a lot. So I was starting to say that, we were having a discussion while we were setting up the studio this morning and getting everything turned on, or this evening, and, the talk led to positivity and led to, following your dreams and doing the things that you really want to do instead of just doing your day job. And Daniel and I were talking, and how did that conversation get started, Daniel? What were we saying? We were saying, I think we were talking about my real estate experiences.
I think that's what it was. We're talking about, starting with just kind of an idea, and hey, maybe we'll just try this, and people saying, no, you can't do that. You don't know what you're doing. You've never tried it.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I bought my first house 3 or 4 years ago, my first income-producing house. I had some income-producing commercial properties, but, everybody always says, oh, you can't do it. Well, you don't have any experience, but where do you think experience comes from?
Right.
Just some idiot like me getting out there and just doing it, and then, sometimes not knowing everything is your best asset, because you do things that people don't think that you can do.
Right. Absolutely. You start off just surprising yourself a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I'm on my 4th house, and I'm starting a little property management company, and I'm looking at, I bought another house in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is going to be the next Boulder and Denver. It's growing. It's going to triple in value. You heard it on the Mark Hope Show first.
That's right.
And kind of as a segue into our guest tonight, we're actually doing some LLCs where people can actually buy into some of those properties. We don't allow financing. We don't allow anybody to be in business with us and borrow money, right, Daniel?
Right. No, because we don't want to be in business with the bank.
We hate the bank.
Hate the bank.
Yeah, we're not gonna deal with the bank. But if 5 people get together, and they pool their money, now all of a sudden you've got partners instead of bankers.
Right.
And everyone's helping each other,
Right.
And you have a little symbiosis going on, and everybody's got something in the game, and then you can, 1 begets 2, begets 3, begets 4, and all of a sudden like-minded people are getting together and forming these LLCs and buying these investment properties. And the other thing is we're having fun. And people with skills like Tony at Wall to Wall,
oh yeah,
he could get involved and fix some steps and cabinets. And then you've got other people who are, like Nora's an attorney, and you've got, other people that have other different skills that all, I do the marketing, and other people, are involved in things. And before you know it, the thing that everyone said that you couldn't do,
you're doing it.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
And they have to shut up and watch you do the things that you're doing.
Yeah, and all their criticism about how you can't do it, all of a sudden, maybe spoke to you.
Thomas is shouting out in the comments about the Hope Foundation, helping other people every day. This is something I truly believe in. There is nothing big or small that you can do that will change somebody else's life. That's true.
That's good stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's the Hope Foundation. And what do we call the housing projects that we're working on?
What do we call those?
Hope for Homes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we're doing quite a bit of stuff. We're going to be doing some stuff in Denver and some stuff in different parts of the country, but a lot of people are going to work together, and a lot of people are going to be doing things that everybody else says you can't do. It's like our last guest last week, Texas K-9 University. I cannot tell you how many people told those guys that they couldn't do it.
Right.
You can't train police dogs, and you can't start your own dog company. You're just cops. You can't do anything. And those people are out there doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing it successfully too.
Yeah, they have a great operation, and they've got tons of experience. And now instead of making money for somebody else, they're making money for themselves, and they're helping out veterans, and they're really making good things happen. So that ticks all the boxes. Who's sponsoring the show tonight? We got All Around Auto Care.
We got All Around Auto Care.
Jonathan at All Around Auto Care. We'll put it in the show notes. I would really like to see a bunch of people support this little coffee shop that's down the street from our studio, Kananji. And we'll put that in the show notes for you.
I'll just add it right to the link here if I can.
Yeah, Kimberly is the owner of that place, and she does a bunch of work with the FBI, and they track down these child traffickers
Yeah.
that traffic in these children. And part of all of the things that they do at this coffee shop provides money and exposure to these people that are solving these, getting these little girls back home. And she is a really neat lady, and she's a client of Marketing Hope, and we'll have her on and have her talk about what kind of things that she's doing. And
yeah, tell me that name again. I'll see if I can't get him going here.
Kananji. Try Kun
Got it.
Parker. Yeah.
Yeah, I got him here. Here we go.
Mr. Mike Mitchison chiming in.
I'm going to throw these guys right into the comments, so
That's
you can all
perfect.
take a look.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Who else we have coming in here? Wave the Grain,
Wave the grain.
big sponsor of the show. And there was a story about some guy that walked into one of the Wave the Grain locations and stole the tip jar.
I saw that. That's awful.
I think we actually put it on the show page,
We did.
a picture of that guy. Hopefully they catch him.
Yeah, no, we got him in, at least on the page. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, I reached out to the people at Wave the Grain and said that we would pay, the Mark Hope Show would pay to get those tips back to the employees.
Oh.
They said we weren't allowed to do that for some reason, but we're in negotiations. We may do something else with that money, but they're good folks doing good things over there. They certainly don't deserve that kind of riffraff that's going on.
Right.
But so the theme of what I want to talk to people about on the show before we get to the guest tonight is, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. And you need to, the best moments that I've ever had in all the businesses that I've ever started and all the businesses that I've ever run and all the things that I've ever done. I mean, the beginning time is almost the best time, I mean, Daniel, how many different things have we started that were wildly successful afterwards? And at first we didn't know what we were doing at all.
All of them.
I mean, the search engine optimization that we've done over the years and, the domination of being able to promote things digitally when we had to throughout the years, we started off as relative beginners, and now we're on the inside track of what actually makes the Google bots follow you, and now it's old hat for us.
Right.
But we had to start off where we didn't even know what was going on. We didn't even know what relevancy was. We didn't even know what the algorithm was. But then once you figure it out, then you become an expert. And just doing the things that you're expert at your whole life, that's no life. I mean, I was reading something earlier today, and it's a quote, and I'm grasping, I don't know who it was from, but it maybe one of our listeners will put it in the comments. But the quote went, if something scares you, you should probably try it. and that's a lot of life. I mean, you really, really need to kind of stretch the envelope a little bit.
Yeah. And if I'm not responding quite fast enough, I've got a lot of stuff to do back here behind this board. We need a camera pointing at this direction because it's a little crazy.
Joyce, the voice said, so just walk in and drop a wad of cash in the new tip jar.
That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, and we're not above that kind of activity.
No, we're not.
And neither of those folks at Wave the Grain, they're awesome. Hopefully a bunch of other new customers will go in and learn about them. Also, you want to talk about somebody that really stretches the envelope, Lee.
Yeah.
And I always butcher his last name. Stravinsky.
Stravagi. Lee
That
Stravagi.
guy is a master of cars. And every day when he's working in his shop, hey, Scott Jean-Claude's checking in.
Good to see you too, brother.
Oh, and you're clicking on him over there.
I'm
doing a
an
great job.
octopus over here. I got all kinds of stuff going on.
I used to be behind the big air chair in the studio in the old days.
You got kicked out.
Yeah.
You didn't have enough arms for what needs to happen.
They demoted me to host.
No, I don't see a scroll bar. Where's her business? Yeah, let me work on that, Scott. Hold on one second.
You know, there's another self-made guy that just popped up in the comments. Clay Foster. He was actually a guy that worked his whole life as a mechanic, and now he is a guy that does selling things over the internet, if you can believe it or not. Clay and I went to fifth grade together.
Huh.
And so now here's an old guy that old cowboy that used to just do working on cars and brain. The comments don't auto scroll down. I think they get too full.
No, what happens is if you don't scroll down, if you scroll up to catch something, you
it
gotta
won't catch
scroll
itself back
down to the bottom just to get you back.
But anyways,
in there.
Clay reinvents himself, and now he's doing great things for Action Computers. That's another talk about a great sponsor. ActionPC.com. If you need a computer in Denver, they're running a special right now where they're giving away whole computer systems that are starting from $100 and $150 and $200 for students and small businesses to augment what they're doing. But this is the whole thing. This is the desktop with the monitor and the mouse, the keyboard, the power cord, everything that you need with Windows and everything for $100.
Trying to find that
Just mention the Mark Hope Show when you go in, and they can add a second monitor for $50, so you can have a desktop with a 2-monitor rig for $150.
Wow.
And there is a ton of things going on. Action Computers, 2 locations, one 2890 South Colorado Boulevard, and there's another one up north at 80th and Wadsworth. So definitely go in and see those folks. And Scott Jean-Claude is right. Action has the best customer service, hands down. Hands down.
But we sure try, and you should try
one of my favorite businesses I've ever owned.
Try the gluten-free, Scott. It's good stuff. Don't knock it. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. Whew. And there's PJ. He's jumping in. You see that? What are you phone? Oh.
No, I've got.
You got enough going on over there too?
No, I feel like I'm at the Space Station Zebra. You should see the studio. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got.
You can only see the back of one mic, but there's screens everywhere. I even have a screen that look at this. Here's my phone that's hanging on this thing right here, and then Daniel's behind all these screens, and then there's a guest spot and screens. I mean, it's crazy over here. Am I in the way?
What did you do?
I'm watching lag now. I don't know.
No, you're good. No.
Do I have it back?
You kind of broke it.
Yeah, I should not be allowed to touch things.
Don't touch the stuff. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, we are back, pointed in the right direction.
And Bradley's chiming in saying that Action Computers has the best repair services as well. And he knows that because Bradley's a good customer. He's been in and we really, 80% of our customers at Action Computers are repeat customers and customer referrals. And every business that does a good business should have those kind of statistics.
Yeah.
The marketing company that I run, I select the people that I'll work for, because if you're not a good business, then a good marketing program doesn't work because the people, they don't stick. And so you can't build a business by just having one-off customers that you just throw away every time.
Right.
So, if you're a good business and you need help getting your name out and a little bit more marketing savvy in this digital age, where you can really get
is that what you want there, Scott?
Savings for your budget, marketinghope.com, or chime in on the show page or reach out to me on Facebook. We love to help small businesses. You don't have to have a huge budget. I have people coming to me all the time. They want to spend $300 to $500 a month and get an impact. One of the largest spaces that I'm working on right now is LinkedIn. You know, a lot of people think LinkedIn is a resume site, but it's the giant behemoth content management space that people aren't taking advantage of, and especially when we're doing video for our customers, right, Daniel?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, if we can do video for them, and then Daniel dresses all that video up and makes it look good with the banners and all that kind of stuff, then you put that into your LinkedIn and you reach out to real business people. The demographics and the money and the businesses are all on LinkedIn. You need to be reaching that out. If you're doing any kind of advertising for yourself on Facebook, you need to look into the LinkedIn space and you need to look how to build audiences, and we can help you do that. So anyways, that's enough of a commercial about Marketing Hope. Should we
Are you ready?
get a caller on the line?
I think we're ready. We're going to have to don the headphones.
Don the headphones. Okay, well, hand it over. We're going to go live with Nora.
So we have Nora Nye from Budding Equity Management. We're going to get her on the phone here real quick, and she's going to tell us about what she does. And
I hate wearing these things, by the way.
You look so cool in them.
Just so everyone knows.
All right.
All right, I can hear it.
Okay, all right. We're going to get her on here, and hopefully... just one sec. Make sure this is going the right way. Okay. All right, we're going to get her on. Just 1 second here. I keep saying we're going to get her on. Just a sec. Okay.
Also, anytime that you're listening to the show and you feel like you have something to offer the show, please chime in on the chat on the right. And if you want to call, let Daniel know. And Daniel is running the board. So if you want to just message the show, you can message me on Facebook while the show's live. Daniel's running that.
That's me.
Account. And private message the phone number in, and we'll give you a call, and we'll answer your questions right on the show after the guest is over. We love to talk to people. And there's Pedro. He's gotten several solid contacts, locally interested in the campaign due to the Hope marketing strategy and the LinkedIn. That's good. Solid work. Thank you. Thank you for the endorsement, Pedro. We're eagerly awaiting for the results election night.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna give this a try here. I'm gonna do this, and we hope we can get her on the show here.
Now, can the people that are listening to the live, can they hear all this stuff too?
No. Now they can.
They don't hear the background stuff?
No.
Hello.
Nora!
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Welcome to the Mark Hope Show.
Hi. I'm glad to be here.
Look at those likes are coming up. That's crazy.
What is going on there? Somebody
is appreciating the show right now.
That is awesome.
Nora, I think your fans are going crazy. There's loves and likes all over the screen. That's awesome.
My goodness. Well, that's great.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on the show. And you and I were visiting the other day, and we have similar interests about helping people out. And your bread and butter and how you make your living really is you're a barrister, correct?
Yes, I am. I've been an attorney for over 20 years, and I have my own solo law firm. But I have moved into a whole new business.
And that is really what we're here to talk to about tonight. And maybe you can, just kind of, for everybody listening, kind of primer the website name. And I think Daniel's tagging the show with that as well.
Right, Dad. That's
it's
in the
Budding
title.
Equity.
Budding Equity.
Yep.
And what's
the name of the company is Budding Equity Management. And we are a crowdfunding real estate investment firm. So it's a brand new type of investing that I learned about a few years ago. So I've been working on this company and getting it developed and then finally launched for almost 5 years. I learned about this new way of crowdfunding equity. So it's sort of like Kickstarter, except instead of getting a beta of the product, when you basically donate money to a Kickstarter program. You get either the bait of the product or a T-shirt. Well, instead of doing that, you get equity in a company, so you get stock in a company. And I learned about this, and I started thinking that, this could be something that could really work well, especially in real estate.
Because
So,
everybody wants a little piece of the action. And
right, it's a little piece of the action, but what you're also getting is, instead of, you actually get to be a part and be an investor in real estate. And but you really aren't having to do anything. You're just going to have stock, just like you would if you were on the market. You're buying stock. But this is a little different because it's private securities, so it's non-tradable. Ours is non-tradable, and what that means is it's a longer term investment, but it's in real estate, so it's much safer and much more likely to work and.
And the reason that they can't normally do this is because you were telling me the other day about a certified or an authorized
they're called accredited investors.
accredited
So
investors.
usually in the investment world, when you want to be an investor and invest in a company, you have to be what's called an accredited investor, which means that you have to make at least $200,000 in income. Or you have to have a net worth of around $1 million, not including your house. And the reason they do that is because in that way they can track who's doing the investing. And you have what's called these broker-dealers. And broker-dealers are licensed by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and an organization within that called FINRA, which is their financial branch. And what they do is they actually can keep track of who the broker dealers are, and they are the ones who then basically broker the deal between the company and a potential investor. Same with a real estate deal. If it's really big, you want to get a few $1 million from an investor, you have to have a broker dealer, and it's sort of an in-between thing. If you're non-accredited and you don't make as much money, so you make less than $200,000 and you don't have a net worth of $1 million or more, then you are not allowed to invest in those types of deals. There wasn't really a mechanism for that. If you wanted to invest, you had to go through and invest in the market. You had to be.
But with this new REIT that you're starting, and the management company, people can invest in $1,000 chunks. Is that what it is?
So what happened is they allowed us to start allowing non-accrediteds to invest in this company through the Jobs Act. And it's a new crowdfunding mechanism. It's called Regulation A+, and it's under Title 4 of the Jobs Act. And what it does is it allows anybody to invest directly in a company. And what we set up, instead of a regular company, we set up what's called a real estate investment trust, a REIT. And that allows people to invest directly in real estate, and they get stock in the REIT. And when there's profit, 90% of the profit has to go back to the investors because it's an IRS pass-through. So that means that if there's any profit of the REIT, which there should be, especially in real estate, then it goes back to the investors. Most of it goes back. And as a management company, we're just managing the REIT and making sure it works.
Now, just to kind of, drop the other shoe for the listeners out there, one of the exciting things about this is that the real estate investment trust is going to be doing really remarkable projects that have to do with real estate. Like, for example, if a bunch of wounded warrior guys or veterans or whatever needed to have tiny homes and a tiny home community with kind of a canteen and a place for them to shower and a jobs program and training and all that, this REIT could say, hey, look, we want to put $4 or $5 million into this, get these guys a place to re-enter society, and that would be one of the projects that you guys would be focusing on, correct?
Exactly. So what we do is we raise the money. So it's $1,000 minimum, and anyone can invest. And we raise the money, and then we lend that money to organizations. So either to a nonprofit or to a for-profit, but it's got to be properties that help communities. So properties that are going to benefit a community. So things like that, exactly.
And it has
So
to be
that could
real
be a
estate so that
nonprofit.
their investment is
Right.
safer.
And so what we do is we act as a hard money lender. So we're like a bank. So we would get a first mortgage on that property. And then that way, we don't have to charge as high an interest rate. And we'll still be able to make a return on the REIT so that there's profit, but the interest rate don't have to be as high as they usually are from when you get it from a wealthy investor or a bank. So this way we can keep our interest rate a little bit lower so that we can fund these companies and they can then get off the ground. And actually, one of our first companies that we want to fund is life-size tiny home communities, tiny communities. And they're looking at starting a tiny home community here in Colorado, over in Jefferson County near Littleton. And they're ready to start building as soon as we are able to raise the money to fund them. So it's really exciting because this is for anyone. This is it's a place where you can have your own tiny home built, and then you have a community where you can have your tiny home. So it's a really exciting concept, and they're helping us to get this company off the ground too, because then we can fund them just like we could fund that type of a organization that would help the vets and have a place for them to live. And there's actually some other organizations that are already doing that in other cities, and we can do this anywhere in the country. So we're not just tied to Colorado. We
Right.
can
It's like
lend
we were
money
talking about the other
to
day.
anybody.
If you want to
Yeah,
revitalize part of Detroit, we could go buy 2 or
exactly.
3 blocks of Detroit
Right.
and just go in there and just get a guy like Tony at wall to wall and say, hey, look, we want you to fix up all the interiors of these houses and put
Hmm.
in all the appliances and redo the electrical, and then start renting them out to at-risk families and people that are, coming in and
Right.
revitalizing those areas.
Hmm.
And there's a
Yeah.
lot of profit in that kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Oh, we can do a lot of things, and as we are, at least with this first REIT, we are just the manager of the REIT, and it's just making loans. So we don't actually buy the properties. What we do is we loan the money to, say, you're the developer that
Right.
wants to develop an affordable housing project in Detroit,
Let's
or
say that
here in Denver, which
Hope for Homes
really needs it.
Hope for Homes
Yeah.
wanted to
So.
come in and make some affordable housing for some folks here, and
Hmm.
give people a bootstrap kind of a
Right.
situation to get back up. Also,
Right.
we would be interested in projects that maybe help some of the people that are, having problems with alcohol or drug abuse, that kind of
Oh,
thing, and
absolutely.
do some
Yeah.
treatment centers and buy
Uh-huh.
back some
Yep.
of these
We could
old
definitely fund a
school
sober
buildings
house,
and
or
yeah.
something like that, for all of those types of projects. So those are exactly what we're looking for. Plus, we're doing some exciting co-working spaces. There's one that we're looking at funding here in Colorado in Five Points, where they want to do a co-working space that is also a full-blown video production studio, audio production, and would also have hospitality.
Oh, there you
So
go.
it kind of combines everything. And we're also looking at some hospitality projects. So, some tiny cabin project, or hobbit homes. I don't know if you've heard of those that
Oh
are
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
into the ground. I mean, there's just so many things that we could find, and I'm not too worried about us getting projects to fund, but I would love for more people to come to our website, which is B as in boy, UDEQ.com. So budeq.com. And then you can see, how this works. For $1,000 minimum, you're actually helping people, but you're also becoming an investor in real estate that helps. So it's a great.
And
It's just a
90%,
really
90% of the
exciting.
profit has to go back to the people that are
Yep.
buying these shares
And
that
the
you're
way
talking
we've
about.
structured it, yeah, well, the way we've structured it, it should be even more than that. At least up to 95%, if not even more, as we go along. So, there will be profit, there will be dividends. I mean, we can't guarantee when, but as soon as there is, that it goes right back because we have to by the IRS, and we have been qualified by the SEC. So our offering is all being watched, and we're just so excited to get this off the ground and just to start getting people to know about it and to get an opportunity to put some money into an investment that should get you a decent return. We're not promising the moon, but it's a nice decent return, and you get to help. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And there's actually some projects that you're launching that are actually on that site link that we posted.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. That was the tiny home community here in Colorado, as well as the project in Five Points. So those are our two that we are looking at funding right away as soon as we raise the money in the REIT. So, and in order to raise the money, we got to have people come to the website and become an investor.
Well, that sounds awesome. Well, Nora, thanks for coming on the show tonight. I know it was short
Sure.
notice, and I know you're really busy with all your lawyer stuff you're doing, but this is your passionate interest, and I was just really thrilled to talk to you about it the other day.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm really excited about it, and anyone who has any more questions, they can send me an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all on the website. But,
no, say it again. Go ahead and say it again.
The website is B as in boy, UD as a dog, EQ.com. And my email is info@budeck.com.
But they can also like you on LinkedIn, Nora Nye.
Oh, yes. We're on LinkedIn on Nora Nye, but you'll also see Budding Equity. And we have our Facebook page at Budding Equity.
And
so those are, you can go to that. And we're also on Twitter and on Instagram.
You'll keep us updated as to what projects are going on, and maybe come back and see us.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
All righty.
I would love to. Yeah.
Well, everybody, we will make sure that all the information is in the show notes, and we will distribute it with the podcast and the YouTube video and everything like that. So, Nora, thank you for calling in, and we are very excited to see what projects get kicked off. Maybe we might even do a couple with you. All right.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
All righty. Have a great evening.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Neat lady.
Yeah, that was cool.
What a great concept.
Yeah, no, it's a cool idea. People who have an interest in it and they want to get involved with something like that, but they don't have the upfront millions of dollars they need, just join in like this.
But really, they're just the vehicle to help some of the people. Like if Hope for Homes wanted to get together with somebody and then buy, some, encampment that did some kind of training or whatever, the people would actually get behind their own charity or their own nonprofit or their own business, and then they could approach the Budding Equity Investments.
Sure. Yeah.
And the people could actually donate to that investment firm that would loan them the money. Right. So they wouldn't have to set up all that themselves necessarily. They would the REIT would run it all.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's a neat idea.
In these days of, everything's changing. The crowdfunding thing and the GoFundMe and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's all happening.
We don't need those.
Till somebody calls in.
Speaking of which, if you want to be on the show, call in just like Nora did. Drop me a line or just message Mark, actually, and throw me your phone number in there, and I will call you back and get you up on the air. And you can...
And it's as simple as just saying something in the chat, and Daniel will talk to you offline, and we'll call you and see what's cooking in your world.
Absolutely. This is pretty easy.
It is.
Okay, so where were we at? Before we called Nora, we were talking about the idea, and Nora is a great example of this. She's getting this off the ground, and it's just a matter of, hey, do your thing. Do something. Don't...
Well, you can't be afraid to
Right.
make things happen.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
the last show we had, then I went on a tangent that I said you were going to cut out of the tape or whatever during the editing. Remember that?
No. Maybe.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Was I talking about the souls and how they...
Oh, yeah,
everybody...
you were talking about that, and I don't think I'm going to cut that out. It was pretty good.
You're going to keep it in
I'm
there?
going to keep it in there, yeah.
I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about during one of the breaks was the circle.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else has heard this, but...
I think they should, if they haven't heard it. And I know some of you people listening have heard this before, but everybody else is going to get something out of this. It's good stuff.
Years ago, my mother was in the hospital at St. Anthony's, and I was driving up there with my granddaughter and my wife, and my granddaughter was, 6 years old, and my mother had a stroke. So I was driving up there and I felt this pain in my shoulder, and the closer we got to the hospital, the more it spread down my arm until finally we visited with my mom for a minute, and then I said, "Hey, Luann, you need to check me in because I don't feel right. I think I'm having a heart attack." And so we checked me into the ER at St. Anthony's while we were up there visiting my mom, and they put the wires on me, they checked me, and they had my wife and my granddaughter in the room with me, and it turns out that Mackenzie laid her head right on those wires, and she was so scared for me, and I was just wondering what was all worth it that I worried about enough to give myself a heart attack and have this beautiful girl laying on these wires on me, and I could possibly be checking out. And about an hour later, the doctor came in and he said, "Hey, Mr. Hope, you didn't have a heart attack." And I said, "Well, I'm having something. I mean, something happened to me. I'm not doing this for fun." And he said that I had an anxiety attack. And at that moment, I decided that was never going to happen again. And I went to the doctor the next day, and I said, "I want you to give me a pill that can help me start to calm down, and I am not going to worry about this stuff anymore. I'm not going to worry about things. I'm not going to give myself a heart attack over all this crap that when I was laying in that bed and that little girl was having her head on my chest with those wires, and nothing mattered at that point. Some guy didn't, buy my car, or there was a problem at work, or my boss is an ass, or something in politics. Somebody, some politician did something or the other, and I was all upset over it, and it was all completely meaningless at that moment. So I decided I'm not going to do it anymore. And Daniel, you were in my life when that happened.
When you came back from that experience, I remember you gave me your wristband from that, the little thing that they put on your wrist, and said, "Hold on to this."
Yeah, that's right.
And as a reminder, and I did. I held on to it, and I gave it back to you some years later. But as a reminder of that experience, if you ever needed that reminder of, hey, what's important. But the thing that came from it, the circle that came from this.
So I had to concentrate on what was important. And so I decided that I would start looking at the most intimate circle in my life, and what was important to me inside of that circle was my wife and my two lovely daughters and my mother-in-law, Bonnie, because I still need to take care of her, and my grandkids. And that circle of people, I care about them. I have to worry about them. I have to worry about their behavior. I have to have some stress about, are they doing okay? Should they be doing something else? Should they be doing something that I like better than what they're doing? But then after that, then there's another circle. Yeah. Pedro said, me in the brain. Yeah, you're in the circle. Another circle is those other people that are outside of that intimate family. Those are the friends and family, and maybe you care deeply about them, but you don't own them. They're not in your boat. You talk to them about doing the right thing, and if they don't, you can't worry about it. You can't fix everything. You might get a little bit more active in those relationships that are outside of that inner circle, but you're not allowed to worry about them. And then there's everything else is in the third circle. And frankly, I mean this in the very most loving way that I possibly can. I don't care. I can't do anything about it. The only thing that's ever going to happen if I'm worrying about something that China is doing, I'm going to give myself a heart attack, and I won't do it. I've been there. I felt like what it was like. I felt like I was losing everything. And I'm not willing to do that again. I have a certain amount of time left on this earth, and I'm not going to give it up for some jagoff, politician who's lying anyway. I'm going to have a concerted effort on those people that are around me. And if I'm positive with somebody and I'm helping them and they bite the hand that feeds them, I'm not going to worry about them. I might not even totally give up on them. I don't care about them enough to hate them. You're just a null. I don't know you anymore. I've forgotten you like third period French. I don't care. Because once you get rid of all of these negative people in your life, out of your circle, and you don't pay attention to them and you don't listen to them, it creates this huge vacuum that sucks in all of this positivity. All of these positive people comes rushing into your life, and you realize you didn't have time for those negative people anyway. Even if you wanted to sit around and bathe in their negativity, you don't have time for it anyways. There's too many 8-year-old boys that want to learn how to ride a motorcycle or hit a baseball, or your stupid friends that you want to sit around and talk about your old stories that you used to do when you were little, or just, share different memories, or help somebody who's, older. Listen to an old person, and they have stories that you should hear, and you should have time to listen to those people. But if you pay attention to people that are negative people in situations, you will waste your life, and you're going to give yourself a heart attack. You're going to have high blood pressure because of that. Are you wanting to jump in?
No.
Oh, I see your finger on the trigger over there. So for me, and I don't tell anybody what to do for them. And again, I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't care anything about it. But for me, if I just let go of that negativity and I deal only in the positive, and I only worry about that circle, and everything else I just let it be, I'm much happier. And I think, PJ mentioned earlier, don't watch the news. And I take a little bit of that with a grain of salt. I don't watch a lot of the news. I don't care so much about it. It's terrible. There's things that are happening that are terrible. And, just because, I say I don't care about them doesn't mean that, I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean that, I condone those activities. I don't. I just don't care about it because I can't sacrifice my own personal, emotional health to worry about every little thing, because you're going to die a very short and painful death, and then you won't be able to help those people that are inside your 2 circles that you really have to worry about, because you're going to be gone. You can't pour from an empty pitcher.
No, that's totally true. Especially when you take on every person's cause and every person's thing that they're stressed out about, because it's natural. You want to help out people, and people want to come to you, and especially if you have.
I mean, they want to lay their negativity at your doorstep too,
right.
And you have to tell them that they can't.
Yeah, it's a trick. I mean, it definitely is something that takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of reminders, and continually reminding yourself and say, hey, is this really inside my circle, or is this just some noise?
But that little girl, who laid her head on her Big Papa's chest that day when she was 6 years old, is going to be getting her driver's license.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 10 years, and let me tell you guys, my life is wonderful. I have the best life of anybody. And Daniel can tell you, he's watched it. I'm the luckiest man alive. I have more good karmic things that come my way, more friendships, more business opportunities, more emotional and material wealth than ever could even be imagined in a person's life. And I keep trying to do the same thing that I've been doing over this last 10 years to keep that going. And, if you ever need somebody to help you, I mean, I'll be there for you. But you got to be positive, and you gotta be willing to help other people.
Yeah. Well, PJ's got a great comment here. He says, getting sucked into the negative smothers your ability to be productive, is draining and totally unnecessary. And that's true.
It is draining.
Yeah. You only have so much life, so much energy to do what you're going to do. And there's a bunch of effed up people that don't want to fix themselves.
Yeah. And the only way that they can make themselves feel better,
to bring you
if they screw you up just as bad, and now everybody's miserable, and you have to allow that.
Yeah.
And whether it's your boss, or whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your father-in-law or whatever, don't let it happen.
Right.
And the only one that I have to make any excuses to is my wife and my girls. And, I beg them, hey, please, let's be positive and let's love each other. Everyone else, I mean, if you're negative with me, I will cut you off just like Denver traffic.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, no water's going to come out the other side of the hose because I just won't talk to you again.
Right.
Especially on the internet. I will delete and block somebody so fast. I'm related to them in real life, and I see them at the family reunion. It's like, you blocked me on the internet. You're negative. And it's happened to me more than once.
I bet.
And I don't apologize for it.
Yeah.
And then I let them back in, and then they start talking about politics on my wall again, and then
Gotta go.
I block their ass again. And, I don't care. For somebody who's compassionate, I don't care. A lot.
Well, I think that's a big part of it. You can be compassionate and you can have all that there for people, but it's got to be. They have to earn it. They have to be. At least they have to not throw it in your face.
People make mistakes, and sure. I'm all about forgiving people that make. Sure. I'd apologize to some kid at work today because I yelled at him because he was whistling going by my office, and I couldn't hear a phone conversation, and I snapped at him a little bit, and I shouldn't have, and I went back and I had to apologize. Hey, look, sorry about that. I mean, I had to ask the guy 3 or 4 times, to repeat himself, and you're whistling, singing, I had to apologize, but then it's over.
Yeah.
And
one thing that I've heard somebody told me a long time ago, it's not about who you are, it's about what you did. When you do something wrong, you did something wrong. It doesn't make you a bad person. Just that, you did something wrong. Deal with it. Move on. It's fine. Am I making sense?
You are, okay. And it's true.
I'm not saying.
And I have a lot of people around me, that I think are more positive people, and you check me on this, Daniel, but I think there's people that are around me that are more positive today because I just won't allow it. And you see it and they make a mistake and there's, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be negative around you. I know you don't like that. And then you let it go. Is that right, Daniel?
That's totally true. That's totally true.
And, it's fine. It's not a one mistake thing, but it's like, if you're going to continue to be negative and you're not going to try and change your ways, then I will start distancing myself. But if you're actually trying to be, I've known some of the most curmudgeon-y, just bastards of people that were just awful that kind of went through a revitalization, kind of a born again positivity. And they're the most positive people that I hang around with now because they're like, hey, look, I changed my ways.
Sure.
And, I think that's great. If I leave that mark on the world, if there's that one thing that I do, that's a good one. And I was talking to Kimberly from Kananji the other day, and I kind of teased her at the beginning of the show, but, one of the things that I require before I take on a client is when I'm talking to them, I want to talk about their charity and how they're active in the community, what you're doing with the community. And she does this FBI thing for these traffickers and that kind of stuff. But one of the first things that we started doing at Action Computers, Daniel, was we have given away 300 computers to at-risk youth in Denver since 1999, something like that. I mean,
something like that.
We gave away more back in the day. They were more expensive. We could give away less of them, and we were smaller. But the whole idea was that if we could get a computer in front of an at-risk youth, they would learn how to code and program and get out of that situation instead of learning how to steal a car stereo or get on the corner and deal drugs or do whatever. So for our community involvement at Action Computers, that's really, getting that technology into homes that wouldn't normally have it.
Right.
And, that's an impact that I think that you can say, hey, that's something I did in my life. That's something that I actually, I actually did something for that person. And just giving money, that's not enough. You have to get your hands in the soapy water, wash the dishes at the soup kitchen, really, donate the soup and then wash the dishes afterwards to get that full feeling of, hey, I'm here helping people and I made a difference.
Do you still have that little picture and letter from the kid that...
I do.
You do.
I do, from Stephen.
Yeah, that's his name.
Daniel's talking about we
I wish we had that here.
We gave we can post it. We can post it in the show notes later. But there was this little kid, and he was, what was he, 7?
Something like that.
He didn't have any arms and legs. He just had one little kind of from the to the elbow, and this was back in the day. I mean, this was back in the day. We had to buy this Dragon Dictate software.
Oh yeah.
So he could run the computer, and I think that was $1,000 just for the software.
It was something, yeah.
But anyways, we got a computer for him, and I'd like to have him on the show. We could find him, because I bet you he's really successful. You know, talk about somebody with grit. We go to the playground, and he'd be rolling around playing with the other kids and going down the slide. No arms and legs.
Well, and I remember his letter. I'll always remember his letter where he said he wasn't able to do homework or get on the computer or do any of that stuff before. And just having a computer in the house was a huge, huge, huge deal for him. And that wasn't something he was able to do before. And
we'll give a shout out to Roseanne Keating, and she was the founder of Tech for All. And that charity helped us distribute a lot of those computers throughout the years. And Roseanne died last year.
She did?
Hopefully the people down at Tech for All are continuing on. I know that there was a little bit of a kind of a...
I didn't know that.
A brouhaha down there. Yeah, she was in for a surgery and died.
No.
But that lady helped thousands and thousands of kids, especially throughout the Action Computer program.
That she was an amazing lady.
And that begat something else, because while we were making the computers, there was a bunch of special needs folks with Downs that would go down there and build the computers, and talk about a party.
They would get the training, they would learn, they would get their hands dirty. And
it was a family down there.
Yeah. They would never get that opportunity otherwise.
And I guess, how do you tie that all in? It's just being positive and just really, having an impact and registering your success in life. If I can be positive and mentor, I can't tell you how many talks I've done for free and how many speakers engagements I've done for free to mentor youth. It's not about being a rich millionaire that says, oh, I'm so successful in life. Well, that's not the only yardstick. And I think a lot of people who are rich and they don't have anything else, they know. Unless you get out there and do something else for somebody else, maybe you don't know what's missing until you really feel it. But then when you feel it, you have to keep doing it.
Well, I think, a lot of people don't realize that everyone has a skill or a talent or something valuable that they can give. Even if it's something as simple as your time, that's an important thing to start.
Absolutely.
Off with. Yes, give money, that's great, but give your skills, give your talents, give your time. It's powerful.
I cannot tell you how many young people that I hope that I've had a tremendous impact on them. And one of the things that I do for them, besides giving them the building blocks to be successful in business and successful in life, is encouragement. Right. I sit down with them and let them know, look, you can do this. I'm talking to you. I did it. You can do it. I had trouble when I went to school. I didn't have the best grades. My parents were poor, and I didn't really get the best formal education. I didn't get the best, preparation for taking the GRE and taking the ACT, and I didn't get to go to a good college.
Sure.
Well, I went to a good college. I went to Western State College, but I didn't get to go to a prestigious college. But I did well in life, and it was after the school, and it was after it was doing the life things that made me more successful, because I was I'd out hustle people. Yeah. And when I'm dealing with these kids, you don't have to be on the dean's list. You got a side business putting together bicycles and selling them to other kids. You got a good start, But back to what you were saying, Daniel, is everybody can have broad shoulders and be encouraging to these young people, and that's a skill.
Right. And if that's all you give,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. I want to read this here, or you can read it if you want, from Bradley.
Go ahead.
So Bradley writes and he says, I like to start Monday on a fresh slate and on a Post-it note. I always ask myself the same question each Monday to ponder, what am I going to do this week to make me more happy and have more purpose? On Sunday, I look at it and see what I did and ponder what I could do to continue it forward. I really like that.
That's good.
It's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Bradley, I watch you on the internet. I need you to stop talking about politics on Facebook. Write that down on your little Post-it for Monday, today. You should be talking about the stuff that you just wrote there instead of telling people about their politics or whatever.
Didn't he just say something? He said something about politics. That's politics. It boils my blood. Yeah. One of my goals is to stop getting
He's trying to do better. He's trying to do better. Yeah. But for another show at another time, I'll tell everybody why I keep my car keys under my bed. Do you know?
I don't know that. No.
You don't know?
I do know that. And I won't ruin it because it is a worthy topic.
But I will. If enough listeners message us, I on a future show I will tell everybody about why I put my car keys under the bed at night, and I take them out from under the bed every morning, and that's where I keep my car keys. For a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see somebody chime in and say what that reason is. You guys think about it.
Oh, they know.
You guys think about it.
Some of them know.
Guys, we are running out of time here. It's been over an hour. Thanks so much for everybody sticking with us. It's amazing. But keep in mind that we do this Facebook Live as we're recording our podcast, and we'll kind of edit it down and make it nice and release it as a podcast a little bit later. And so you see that in the Facebook group or the Facebook page.
And if you care to share us, everything's uploaded to YouTube channel. Everything is on Google Play and iTunes, and like and subscribe for the show. If you like what we're talking about, if you like what we're doing, let us know. If you know somebody that has a business and really could use some help with technology or marketing or advice, like don't borrow any money, don't get strapped with debt, how do I do my business without doing that? Send them over to the show, or send a link to the show to them, and encourage them to reach out to us, and we will help. That's what we're about, helping small businesses and people that are trying to realize their dream. We have tremendously deep resources, and we want to help. That's why we're here. That's why we do the show. So if there's people out there that we can help, we want to do that. Oh, and I even forgot, speaking of good people that are doing good things, I want everybody that lives in Colorado to go to the Best of India's restaurant over in Littleton.
All right, let me give
and
me a
put
sec.
a
Keep
link
talking.
in there,
I got it.
because
I'm on it.
those
I'm on it.
people are doing a great job. And if you want to go on a really fancy date and have a really fancy dinner, and you mention the Mark Hope Show podcast, you will get a multi-course meal for $40 for two. Voted best of Indian restaurant in Denver. And I would really love to see some positive flow going towards those people, because they've had some things happen to them. They could really use some help. So if you want to do something nice for yourself and for somebody that really could use it, go see my folks over at the...
There you go. I got it in. I got it into the comments. So take a look.
The Best Indian Restaurant. That's awesome. Thank you, Daniel.
Hey, no problem.
And thank everyone that's listening. I really appreciate all you guys, and can't wait to do another show on next Monday, and be good to each other out there.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks especially to those people that were doing the likes and hearts and stuff earlier. That was awesome.
That was pretty cool. It was. All right. And we'll see you all later. Have a good one.
I think Rebecca's watching.
Not anymore.
She's on my screen.
Yeah?
Right here.
Yeah. Well, she's not watching anything now because it is over.
Isn't that her?
Yeah, it is.
So maybe it's good for...
Yeah.
We'll talk about the circle?
I talked about it a ton of times.
But I mean, maybe it's good to hear that.
Rate your broadcasting experience. I'd give that a 4-star. Broadcast delay. Yes. Done.
I think that was a great show.
Let's stop recording. God, I gotta check all those before I